What's happening, everybody?
What's going on? Good
Welcome
morning.
to another episode of Facemask Fantasy. Got a special guest today for the Sunday start sit stream. Everybody say hello to Dynasty F Key.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me, Nick.
Of course, yeah, appreciate you joining me today, hopping on as we help folks with any potential last minute lineup decisions ahead of the Sunday slate for week 2. Got a lot of good engagement last night, a lot of questions hopefully were answered, but if you have any last minute thoughts or questions that came up that we need sorted out in the next couple of hours, we got you. We will help out with that, whatever situation you may have. If you want to rehash anything that we talked about earlier in the week, happy to do that as well. We'll go over the most recent injury updates so that we're just completely up to speed on the latest news ahead of kickoff. And then we actually have some rankings, courtesy of our guest here, Alex. Thank you so much for putting that together. And we're not simul streaming on his channel, but if you're looking for additional content during the season, plenty of live streams going on. I imagine not to put any pressure, but I'll be on there again at some point. It's just a matter of figuring out schedules and all that stuff. So give him a follow. Check out the page, check out the YouTube channel, and help out another content creator.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
check me out, Dynasty Football Key, and looks like we got some in the chat already.
Yeah, we got a couple questions in the chat, so we're gonna get to that. As a reminder, for folks as you're coming in, members do get first priority. We will go out of order to address the members. They are the ones who help keep the lights on around here. So I will have my spot in line, and I will make sure that I don't lose anybody's questions. But if I do see members pop in, they will get priority. That is a perk of being a member of the Facemask Fantasy channel. Supers will also jump the line if you are feeling generous enough, but you don't have to. That's not necessary. And then I will get to everybody else thereafter. Let's kick it off with the most recent injury news. And yeah, feel free to hit the chat to help with questions, and feel free to help each other if you are feeling so inclined. Let's see. The most recent information we have as it pertains to player availability today. Jameson Williams will play today. That never seemed to really be in question. Yes, he was on the injury report. What's going on, Crumply Heads? Good to see you, sir. Members also get shout outs, just so you know that your question or comment is being responded to. Just helping out where we can. Jameson Williams playing today was never really in question. Jamar Chase, no plans to negotiate a long-term deal with the Bengals, so presumably he's just going to be available each week as expected. Which is a bit of a sigh of relief for folks relying on him this year. Let's see. Tua Tagovailoa apparently has no plans to retire. That's a whole other can of worms that we don't need to get into. It doesn't pertain to start-sit now with the Dolphins having already played. But again, we're in a holding pattern with your Miami Dolphins. If you have Tyreek Hill, if you have Jalen Waddle, I highly, highly suggest that you just stand pat and let's wait and see what happens. Don't sell low on those guys. Jaden Reed expected to play week 2. He can be started if you're desperate, but this is not a great situation for him for the next couple of weeks, catching passes from Malik Willis, who just got there 3 weeks ago. He is talented enough to come through, but his situation is not good. What's up, Iron? Good to see you, man. Let's get these dubs week 2.
Yes, sir.
Josh Downs considered 50-50 to play today. Stash and hold in deeper leagues. Not a guy you're firing up today, but an intriguing option as a flex in larger leagues. Maybe 12-team leagues, but more likely 14-team leagues moving forward. But he was solid last year, so he may find his way on the 12 or even 10-team radar in the coming weeks. Some disappointing injury updates as it pertains to the big guns. Puka Nacua could be looking at a 5 to 7 week absence. That's not totally surprising, given that after he was put on injured reserve, the indication was that he would be missing likely more time than that. Now it almost sounds like it's official. We're probably not going to see Puka Nacua maybe November, end of October, beginning of November. That's the timeline we're looking at here for Puka. Let's see. And Christian McCaffrey could be out 6 weeks or more. That news just dropped about an hour ago. Disappointing, but unfortunately not super surprising based on what has transpired with him over the past week and a half or so. Jordan Mason remains a locked and loaded top 10 to 12.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe top 15, depending on poor matchups or so. But still, you're firing him up in damn near every scenario if you have Jordan Mason. I think that pretty much covers it. Marshawn Lloyd's making his NFL debut today. Rome Odunze is tracking to play tonight as well. So Caleb Williams gets a bit of a boost on Sunday Night Football. Hey, we got a new member. He hate me. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Any questions you have will get answered priority order. Again, my members, I give, little extra perk of being a member of the channel. You will get your questions answered in priority order. And then I will get to everybody else. So appreciate your patience. And when I say I mean we will get to we will get to your questions after we take care of the members. So just sit tight. We will get to them. But we gotta start with the members first. So let's get into it. We do actually have some rankings here, courtesy of Alex, courtesy of Dynasty Football Key. So just for your visual pleasure, we can go ahead and throw these up. Do we want to? I guess we can cycle through them, or I think you have
I've got it on wide
side.
receivers right now.
Sure.
But as we're talking about players, I can move to that kind of section.
Sure.
See where we disagree and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Rankings obviously are incredibly helpful, but specific situations may call for a different decision that needing to be made. But it's good to be able to use that as a crutch. Let's kick things off with Iron's question. He needs one running back and 2 flex between Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby, Jameson Williams, and Najee. You're thinking of sitting Tank Dell.
Can you highlight the question?
I thought Bigsby. I'm like, I have Bigsby on the mind because he came up so frequently in the stream yesterday. I assume that's Tank Dell, not Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
I think I'm in agreement with how you are planning to roll out Iron and in sitting Najee, even though I do like his spot today. Alex, I don't know how you feel about Najee Harris. But with Jaylen Warren still nursing the hamstring injury and not yet proving how much of a role he can contribute, I do like Najee today. But over these guys, probably not.
Yeah. If you need an RB, man, I mean, Charbonnet is going to have a good opportunity here. We've seen him get this opportunity before, right? And he didn't do too much with it last year, unfortunately.
Right.
I felt like we could have gotten a lot more from him. Najee's playing against the Denver Broncos. I think this team should have the lead and should be able to run the ball for a good amount, man. So really the problem is Charbonnet doesn't have like a good quality back behind him. So there's a lot of room for him to get some workload. We just haven't seen the Seahawks give it to him in the past, whereas we know Najee is getting that workload.
We do know Najee's getting the work, but I don't think they're going to have a choice today, Seattle, because of Walker's absence. Charbonnet got 1 or 2 opportunities last year, like you said, didn't really do anything with them. I'm willing to give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt as a second-year player with that year of experience under his belt. And he did pretty well last week. It's a tough matchup on the road against New England. It's not a great spot. But I am pretty confident that Charbonnet will lead the backfield, whereas Najee might continue to might cede work to Jaylen Warren as he continues to get healthy. So
Yeah.
I think I'm still fine with the way you have it, Iron, where Najee is your sit of those options.
Yeah, Jameson Williams is a must start, and I'm riding with Tank Dell. Give me at least a couple weeks. He was one of the top points per game scorers last year, so give it a little bit more time before
Yep.
we panic on Tank Dell.
I agreed on that. Those 2 touchdowns last week went Stephon Diggs' way. They could easily swing to other players tonight on Sunday Night Football. Let's see. Crumbly had threw a trade in the Discord, so I will take a look at that here shortly. I think it was involving Puka and Jameson Williams with like other pieces mixed in. So we will get to that. You had Mason Iron as an auto sub. See, this is why I didn't realize this was Sleeper rolled out. Alex, I don't know if you saw this auto sub feature this offseason.
Yeah, I'm trying in a couple leagues, and I haven't even used it once.
But like now that guy is ineligible to fire into your starting lineup because you designated him as an auto sub. That is such a bad loophole.
They haven't worked out the kinks.
That is not a good. I hate that. I hate that for you because Mason would be a slam dunk for you to play today. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's awful. So they need to sort that out. I would not use the auto sub feature in any way, shape, or form. I know I think some folks have a significant time difference. So, when it comes to like a late game on Thursday, you're kind of at the mercy of that situation. If a player is ruled out at the last minute, you don't want to get completely screwed. But like on the flip side, you're getting screwed by the fact that you can't actually just start Mason. Like he needs to become an eligible player after the guy that he would auto sub in for is ruled in. That's a bad miss on Sleeper's part.
Yeah, they took that mechanism from college fantasy football because in college they don't have to report to the league at all about injuries, whereas in NFL you have to report with 90 minutes before kickoff. So for us in 15 minutes, all the injury reports are going to come out for the NFL, but the NCAA doesn't have to do that. So that's why in fantasy over there they instituted that auto sub, and I think a lot of people who are playing those crossover campus to Canton leagues, they wanted that type of feature added to Sleeper, but they didn't really know how the full ramifications would be. So some more kinks they got to work out there.
Definitely. Okay. Well,
yeah, brutal. Sorry,
that's
man.
tough, Iron. It sounds like you're in a good spot as far as your matchup, but still, regardless, you don't want that to be, your situation. You want to have access to all of your guys. E111, what's going on? Good to see you. We're benching one of these guys in standard scoring. Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Zach Charbonnet, Najee Harris. So I think we just kind of came to an agreement that we're Charbonnet over Harris. In standard scoring, obviously the running backs get a boost. London on the road against the Eagles, not a great spot, but he should be a little bit better. He should be a little bit better than his showing against the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1. Neighbors over London for me and Charbonnet over Harris for me. So I think those two guys are in. It comes down for me between Drake London and Najee Harris. That's what it comes down to for me. In standard scoring, I might actually prefer the running back.
I think he has the most touchdown upside.
The running back.
Yeah, Charbonnet, Harris, both. I mean, Neighbors low touchdown upside.
No, but Washington is a beatable matchup.
Yeah,
I think.
they're the worst defense in the league
Yeah,
potentially.
after last week, I think you have to go with Neighbors. I know that Daniel Jones is not good. The situation overall in New York is not great right now, but Neighbors looks like a baller already. I think you have to leave him in. I would play Charbonnet as the guy. And then
Yeah,
I think I would go Najee just because it's standard scoring, and I would give London another, a week to prove himself on the road in another, less than ideal matchup.
and do you mind pulling up the screen share again for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
ranking?
yeah. Did I
Cool.
drop it off? Okay.
Nope. Sweet man.
So Neighbors, you got Neighbors as a top 15 receiver. That
Yeah,
makes
and this
sense
is
to me.
PPR.
Yep.
The question was non PPR, but still
Sure.
not too far apart. I've got those guys. Philly's a tough defense. It's a complete opposite on the defensive matchup for those two wide receivers. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I'm hoping for one of these blow up Neighbors game. And there's really, Wandale did get a ton of targets. He actually was number 2 in the league in targets last week, which is crazy.
That's nuts.
But maybe that shifts to Neighbors. What if Neighbors is the one who's number 2 in the league in targets this week? So they're
He
going to be throwing
probably
the ball.
should be.
All right, who else we got here?
Probably should be. So yeah, I would say E11. I would bench London in standard scoring. I would play the running backs and then I would fire up Neighbors as well. Let's see. Crumbly hit Charbonnet over Ridley in full PPR. I actually think so. I do. Ridley is probably going to see Sauce Gardner today. And I just don't want any parts of that until I see a little bit better of a performance from the Titans offense as a whole. Will Levis is the king of YOLO balls, which is awesome. And that will pay off at some point. But in a matchup against Sauce Gardner, that's not where I'm not feeling great about that personally.
Yeah, I'm pretty low on Ridley this week. I'm just going with the guy with the solidified workload in Charbonnet.
Yeah, and you have to be clear, some of these guys have already performed. They've already
played. I have
Tyreek
Hill as the 35th.
They were dropped in the rankings. They've already played, and their performance was
less than
good. Yeah, less than ideal.
Yeah, Ridley probably outscores them, but not going to be higher than Christian Kirk, and I'm still taking the upside on like a Reed over him. So I just didn't even rank Ridley in the top, or at least he didn't make the top 36 for me.
Nah, we need to see a better performance out of the Titans offense.
Levis, man,
Ridley.
Levis, I told somebody like his only goal this first month is to show us that he's an actual NFL quarterback, Will Levis, and he had that first quarter looking good, and then it kind of fell apart.
He's I appreciate the way he plays, but it's not working out yet. So, we need to reel it in a little bit with ball security and just like more efficient play. So until that happens, especially in this matchup where Ridley and maybe to some extent DeAndre Hopkins is going to see Sauce Gardner, I do not want to bet on those guys today. I do not want to rely on those guys today. So yeah, Charbonnet over Ridley, even in full PPR. I think I got all of the member questions. Again, thanks to He Hate Me for joining on. I don't see a question from you yet, but you will get, if you have any, you will get answered as soon as we see it. Pending other member questions, of course. Let's move back up to the top. Thank you, everybody, for your patience as we work through the member questions first. We can get to everybody else now. Let's see. Right up the top is if Walker is out, which it sounds like he will be, and inactives will start rolling in probably in these next 10 to 15 minutes here. Generally around 11:30 East is when we start to see teams officially put out their inactive list. So it sounds like it's all but a formality at this point that Walker is not going to play. With that said, between Gibbs, is that Gibbsy? Is that Gibson, like Antonio Gibson, or is that
it's Gibson?
Is that Tank Bigsby?
It's Gibby.
Gibby.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson. It's a Gibson.
It's Gibson versus Warren. I mean, I don't feel great about either, but Warren, I guess. if you have to pick one of those guys, did anybody drop like Rico Dowdle? Did anybody drop? I mean, hell, like I don't love it, but like I might like Alexander Madison a little bit more on the road against Baltimore. You know, he might mix in and catch some passes, assuming the Raiders are trailing in that game. I'm not crazy about it, but like one of these lower end running backs, are they on waivers? Like speaking, like is Tank Bigsby, the guy I just mentioned, is he still out there? Like I'm trying to think who else do I like from like you know I would take another shot on Chase Brown. He's probably drafted and possibly not dropped. It is Bigsby.
Oh, Bigsby. Okay.
It's Bigsby. In that case, then
Okay.
I would go Bigsby. It's not a great matchup, but he handled I think 15 carries last week. So at least we know that he's healthy. Something that we are not 100% sure on with Jaylen Warren. So I think I'm willing to go Bigsby. Personally, think I'm willing to go Bigsby. What's going on, Greg? I don't know, Alex, if you have
I
any
think I'm
thoughts
too
on
low
that.
on Warren. Still, I would start him over at least Tyjae Spears here.
Okay. Yeah.
But
That makes
yeah, Bigsby seems to have a role. Last year seemed like he was kind of dropped off and it wasn't going to happen. But all offseason and training camp, he was hyped up by the coaching staff, and then now seems like he's going to have some kind of workload there. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
It looks like he's involved. He's going to stay involved moving forward, which is not a great development for folks with Travis Etienne, even though Etienne should remain the 1A. But I think that's what we're looking at. I think he's the 1A, and Bigsby is more of like a, he's a 2 creeping into that 1B conversation if week 1 is any indication. Greg, happy Sunday. Let's get these dubs, everybody. All of us, we want to get some wins today. Let's make that happen.
Can I get my wife's question in here?
Sure.
Charbonnet or Edwards?
Charbonnet or Edwards?
I'm going Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Kenneth Walker injured, so now Charbonnet's only competition for touches is Kenny McIntosh. It's just Edwards has J.K. Dobbins, who was like a top 5 running back last week in the same backfield with him. So you got to go Charbonnet there. He's got no competition at all.
Mm-hmm. It's a good matchup for Edwards, but is he the guy? We don't have any questions about who the guy is for Seattle today. So I would go Charbonnet. Fields over Stafford and Williams. Yes, Greg. I don't know how confident I am in Justin Fields, but they drew up a bunch of designed runs for him last week, so I'm willing to bet on that. I'm willing to bet on Justin Fields picking up some rushing totals. And coming through with a floor play that way. Caleb, rough outing last week. Let's give him another week before we, let's see what happens there. And then, same with Stafford, who lost Puka. Same with Geno. I'm not, tough matchup on the road against New England. I would play Fields.
Okay, and he added on, is he a better backup stash season long over Stafford? Are you thinking about potentially dropping Stafford so you can make a move? But I mean, it looks like if they can win this next game, there's no reason the team should move back to Russell Wilson. I just think team chemistry wise, it's just not how teams operate. And like the Steelers are one of the most old school style teams. So if anyone was to kind of just say, let's stick with the hot hand, it would be this team. And yeah, we didn't get a touchdown out of these guys last week. So he's not solidified just yet. Fields didn't score a touchdown. No one did. It was just a field goal kicker.
Right.
He was getting all the points. So let's see them actually do something this week before we make anything, drastic decision. But yeah, it is tough, with Stafford only having the one option there. But maybe somebody emerges. He's done it with Cooper Kupp as his only option in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not writing him off yet. Hopefully you're not trying to drop Stafford quite yet, unless you absolutely have to. And it's one QB.
To that point, if it's a one quarterback league, I'm not crazy about rostering 2 quarterbacks in the first place,
Yeah.
even when you are this looks like a situation where you maybe punted the position.
And you won. You hit the jackpot. You got Fields.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, he might not be great, but he should be good enough to be a good return on investment. Just ride the wave with him, until he gives you a reason not to play him. Leave those other quarterbacks on waivers.
Yeah.
Roster some running back stashes, whatever running back stashes are available. Let's see. Crumply Heads, should you drop Deontay for Fields? Who's your QB1 in a 10-team league? My first inclination is no. You have I forgot. Greg has Jordan Love. That was his situation going into the season. He had Love. So just pick up Fields. Love is expected back in a few weeks. So I think you can just ride the wave with Justin Fields. What maybe next week it's a Stafford week or a Caleb week. And Crumply, you have Stafford. Yeah, I would just I would just drop Stafford in a 1 quarterback 10-team league. If you want to pick up Fields, who I would play over Stafford, I would just drop Stafford.
All right.
I would just drop Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Fields should be good. Fields was not good last week. He should have been good, and he should be good this week.
He should be better in a slightly better matchup.
Yeah. So it's like we all expect it to happen, but there's still a scenario where it doesn't happen. But in a 10-team 1 QB, there's going to be a different option if someone else takes Stafford. Like, you'll survive. We've seen Stafford's upside on touchdowns is basically 2 touchdowns a game. Stafford rarely in the past season he only did that like once. So
yeah,
you're not getting too much upside from Stafford.
Nah, yards, yes. Touchdowns, not as much. So yeah, I would just drop him and roster 1 quarterback at a time. I think. Oh, Greg had one more. Aaron Jones over Pittman in half PPR. Yeah, I would. It's not a great matchup for Aaron Jones, but he's at home. He still looks good, and he's going to get all the work. I like Pittman quite a bit. But he's probably going to see Jair Alexander, so I'm a little less excited about him just for this week. Let's see. Where are we at? Right back up to the top. Cooper, Lockett, Shaheed, pick one. Is this Amari Cooper? If it is, I would go Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Rashid Shaheed. I would go Amari Cooper. I know that the vibes are horrendous with the Cleveland Browns right now. Deshaun Watson, 1, is still not playing well, and 2, is back in the news for all the wrong reasons. So the vibes are not great. But Amari Cooper is still a damn good receiver. I think this is a better matchup, a slightly easier matchup. The Jags just put their top corner on IR. I'm blanking on his name. Apologies. But he's on injured reserve, so he's not going to play. So it's a softer matchup for Cooper in a game where they're probably going to have to throw on the road. I would go back to the well with Cooper 1 more week before I panic if in the event of a potential second straight bad performance. I would go Cooper.
I've got Cooper ranked ahead of all those guys. So
he's still a wide receiver. He's still a high-end wide receiver.
There's no Njoku guys. They have to throw the ball to Cooper. He's going to get a ton of targets. He had a bad week against a good defense. The Cowboys they're like top 5.
They're a good
the only target now. They're going to launch the ball to him a ton of times.
Yep. Cooper should command.
He actually had like 9 targets and only 3 catches this last game. So it was kind of just they were all over him,
Right. I would think they course correct a little bit today, and he gets a little bit better. His volume is a little bit stronger at the end of the day. I'll say Cooper. I'm just checking to make sure I haven't missed any members recently. I don't think so. Let's move through the rest of the top of these questions. Pick 2 running backs for full PPR. James Conner, McCaffrey. Why is McCaffrey in this question? McCaffrey's on injured reserve. It's James Conner and David Montgomery. CMC is not an option for you. He's on injured reserve, and probably staying there through their week 9 bye week. Let's just be honest. Yeah, Connor and David Montgomery, both of whom I like today. They're both in good spots. Goff or Fields? We might actually disagree on this one, Alex. I noticed in your quarterback rankings that you had Goff a little bit further down the list. And he didn't have a great game last week for fantasy purposes, but I actually quite like Goff today. Their projected team total, I believe, is the highest of any team today. They're basically Vegas is expecting that they're going to score points. I think that's going to be a shootout potentially between Detroit and Tampa Bay.
Rematch.
And Antoine Winfield is out.
Yeah, maybe because it's a rematch of that playoff game. We've seen the numbers they put up in that game, so they kind of have an idea of what it looks like. Both teams are coming back with the same kind of cast of characters, with JMO being an extra option for Detroit. So, maybe more points getting scored. I don't feel like I'm too low on Goff. You know what? Put Geno behind all of these guys, behind Goff at least. I would move Geno down for sure.
I would probably
I don't even know why Geno's there.
I would probably move Goff over Herbert as well. To be honest, I just the low volume. I think Goff is going to throw the ball.
Okay.
I think the chances are Goff has to throw the ball a little bit more today because Tampa Bay boasts a good offense. And I think that I think this is going to be a back and forth. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this Bucs Lions game. I would say Goff. I actually think I have him as the top 12 option this week.
Would you have him ahead of Purdy?
Yes. Without McCaffrey, yes. I know he still has Debo, he still has Brandon Ayuk, he still has George Kittle, but without that extra Konami code in the backfield in McCaffrey, yeah, I would put Goff over Purdy. Purdy wasn't great last week. Goff wasn't good week 1 from a fantasy perspective, but Purdy wasn't either. I think, and at home, Goff is at home, Purdy's on the road. I would put Goff over Purdy, yeah.
Yeah. I like Goff here. I think I agree with you there. I'm having trouble putting him over Burrow but they all have explosive weapons, so it's like who's the best game manager?
They do, right? They do have. They do all have good weapons.
That's why I've got Burrow there because of I didn't look at the totals, but I know this matchup is like one of this most anticipated that we see, every year. So I'm expecting this one every time to kind of be a, light show, laser show.
Absolutely could be. Absolutely could be.
Just see some fireworks in that one. So I would take off at 13.
Yeah. Burrow's health is a little bit of a concern. No T. Higgins for Cincinnati. So that's like where the coin flip happens. Or that's where like a real conversation could actually happen. Obviously, Burrow being the better player, and sometimes you just bet on the talent. But Goff versus Fields, I would go Goff.
Okay.
Goff versus I would go Goff.
I'm too. All right. I'm willing to put a little more upside into it, just in case he has that game where he goes off. But we've even seen Josh Allen like yesterday on Thursday, even though he's got the legs, it didn't happen every game.
Sure. No, it doesn't happen for everybody every single game. But I do feel a little bit better about Goff at home. If it was on the road, it'd be a different story. Goff's numbers on the road are not anywhere close to as good as they are at home.
And there's no reason I should have Baker at 9, but then Goff is like so far away. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would put those guys pretty much neck and neck. Yeah, I would move Goff higher. So I have Goff as a top 10 to 12 option today. I think he's going to have a decent day.
Sweet.
Let's see. In a Superflex league, trade Stafford and Jordan Mason for Kyler Murray and Devontae Smith.
Okay. So Murray, I've got as a top 6 guy. Devontae Smith, I've got him
around the top 20-ish range, right at 20. Yeah. I mean, and this would be obviously for the entire season because it's a trade.
Yes. But when does McCaffrey come back? I've got Mason as top 6 pretty much going forward. I mean, maybe Taylor Mixon can go ahead of him, but he's top 8 back.
Top 10 for sure, I would say.
5 more weeks at minimum.
6 probably. Like. It says 6 weeks for McCaffrey. Jordan Mason, it has ridiculous value right now. You would be getting a big upgrade going from Stafford to Kyler Murray in Superflex, which probably makes this worth it. But I would be curious to know who are the other wide receivers and running backs that you have on your team. That would be what I would be most interested to know. You say you have a big hole at RB2 if you get rid of Mason. So who are those other options? In Superflex, though, I don't want to trade Jordan Mason, make no mistake, but in Superflex, getting that big of a quarterback upgrade in a trade means we need to actually seriously consider this. But I would need to know who your other options are at running back and wide receiver. Let's see. I'm just moving through the list. Greg, again, for anybody just jumping in, first of all, appreciate you guys taking the time and coming in and hanging out today. Just as a friendly, reminder, members do get priority if they ask questions. That is a perk of being a member of the channel. So I will go out of order, out of line to get to their questions and comments. And then I will get back to everybody else. I did not lose my spot in line. We will make sure we get to you. And again, appreciate Alex, Dynasty Fantasy Key, coming in and hanging out, helping out with Start Sit today. Give him a follow if you're looking for some extra content on YouTube to consume during the fantasy season. There are other streams to tune into over the coming weeks.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and good luck, everybody. Let's get it.
Yep,
it's almost that time.
Let's get these dubs. Not a start situation for Greg. Do I think, or should we have hope in Marvin Harrison Jr. breaking out today?
It's still early in the season, but I would say yeah.
You
squeaky wheel type situation, and they could use an additional weapon out there. One catch that's just going to be something they are not going to have happen again. He's going to get
right.
target.
That's not good enough. They have to get him more involved. That's like that. You drafted him 4th overall. You have no choice. You have to find ways to get him more involved than that.
Any thoughts on Kyler's comment that it's not his job to get him the ball?
Yeah, there was, he said it was up to the offensive coordinator. So he's trying. I mean, I don't know if that's him passing blame or just leaning into his belief in the system. You could spin that any way that you think makes sense. I'm sure he knows. This guy was the number 4 overall pick, our first round pick, a high first round pick. Like, the guy has talent. I have to get him the ball. Maybe that was you could even spin that as that's a way for him to tell the offensive coordinator, hey, draw up more plays for this guy. There's a lot of different ways you could spin it. On one hand, you could look at Kyler and be like, well, he's not accepting responsibility or whatever. You could go that route if you want. But the other way to look at this is like, yeah, no, this is on the offensive coordinator. It's on him to figure it out, which of course now you don't want like a rift between player and coach, but ideally that maybe that whole conversation or those comments is just water on the bridge after this week if they're able to get him more involved. But they absolutely have to get him more involved.
Absolutely.
There's no question. So how much hope do I have? I don't know. Better than last week. It's got to be. It has to be. It's got to be better than last week. There's nowhere to go but up. But if you have decent alternate proven options that you can pivot to, I would today. I would not go back to the well with Marvin Harrison unless you absolutely have to. And there are probably more than a few situations where people are going to feel like they have to. He was a high draft pick.
You mind pulling up the rankings again?
Yep. While I do that, E11 Colts defense, they're a top 5 play today. I think they're probably the best stream on the slate. Playing against Malik Willis, the Colts. Yeah, I know that Caleb Willis wasn't great last week. The Texans are not in a bad spot, but the Colts, I think they're in.
Yeah, Malik Willis hasn't had a game over 70 yards passing, and he hasn't ever supported a receiver with over 40 yards passing in a game. So good luck to those receivers over there.
Good luck to Malik Willis. Good luck to the Packers receivers. He only just got there a few weeks ago. Yeah, sorry to Jaden Reed for the next couple of weeks. But the Colts defense, and anybody who plays the Packers for the next couple of weeks. The defense, that is. Let's see. Where's my spot in line? I didn't lose it. We got the trade question again. I would want to know a little bit more about your team and who you have, but I would as awesome as Jordan Mason is in Superflex, a big quarterback upgrade that's on your side, I am interested in. That is a scenario where I am okay with trading Jordan Mason, depending on who else you have on your roster. Let's see. Kittle over Likely. Yeah, we have to go back to the well with the dude that you made. You drafted to be your stud tight end. Likely looks like he could be that stud tight end. But it's also possible Mark
Should I
Andrews
show my
course
rankings
corrects
here?
this
I
week.
feel like I'm gonna make some people mad here.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh, hell. Look at that.
Likely.
You have Isaiah Likely ranked as the top tight end this week. Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
Talk about God. That is a baller statement. That is going out.
Yeah, I feel like this
That's a
this
bold
guy
statement.
was, 1 inch short of just becoming this a superhero. And if he gets
Yeah.
that extra touchdown, are people even questioning him as the tight end one this week? He was that close to getting it. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw him there because I know Lamar is going to be mad. But at the same time, they know that they can't just blindly have him continue rushing all over the place. That was more just to get that Chiefs game. I think
Sure.
Lamar is going to go a little less rush heavy. And Derrick Henry is going to get some of that, but also more focused on just getting Andrews, Likely, and Zay Flowers involved in the passing game. So I'm taking Likely number one here this week.
Wow. That's huge. I like Isaiah Likely a lot. I mean, he's proven he's too good to not be a regular part of the Ravens' plans on offense every single week. I'm not ready to go that. I appreciate bullish calls. I appreciate bold calls. That's what we need in the fantasy space. I'm not quite ready to go there. I'm going back to the well with Kittle for one more week. But if Likely has even half the performance this week that he did last week, then now we're in a serious conversation where it's like, this dude needs to actually be in your lineup over whoever you may have drafted high in your draft.
Yeah, let me add something. So a couple of things actually. Yeah, I'm actually good with the Kittle call just in general because again, without McCaffrey, as much as we love Jordan Mason, there's going to be more picked up by the rest of this team. And since the offensive line is doing well with Trent Williams being back, they're not forced to be like, Kittle, we actually need you as another blocker here. Like they can get him more involved. But my other point is that with Isaiah Likely, think about when Taysom Hill is actually playing quarterback, but he's in your tight end spot, right? Well, Isaiah Likely is actually playing wide receiver and is in your tight end spot. So he's a cheat code here on this, list of guys who we're all hoping just get a touchdown to be relevant. Whereas this guy's actually going to get a lot of receptions, way more than anyone else this week.
He is getting utilized as they're putting him in the slot. He's going to be a regular. He's going to be a regular. I think in fantasy lineups eventually. I'm willing to start the big names, the proven names for one more week ahead of him. And then let's see what happens today, and then we possibly course correct for week 3. But I would go Kittle for one more week. Alex, you feel a little differently. You're to the moon on Isaiah Likely. I'm not quite there yet, but if we see even half of the performance today that he had last week, then I'll change my tune. Then I'll change my tune.
Likely's in the single digits. I'll change my tune also.
There you
okay.
True.
Aaron reports that Walker is officially out. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
So reports we're gonna start coming in. So if you have players move them to your IR spot, go ahead and pick somebody up.
Yep. Make a free pickup. Yeah. Inactive. Jameson Williams, no limitations week 2, so that's good. Josh Downs officially inactive, so in deeper leagues you could IR him, pick somebody else up. We're getting the injury reports are rolling in.
Yeah, I want to see the Jake Ferguson one. I've been trying to get him out this whole time.
He's out. He's inactive.
I'm just waiting for the actual system to flip it over.
Oh, for the tools to actually
good. Thank you.
Catch up to the latest reports, the latest updates. Let's see, where are we at? Deep PPR league, I think. Is Roman Wilson worth getting ahead of waivers? Is he playing today? I think he is. It depends on who you're dropping. Like, who are you dropping to pick up Roman Wilson? That's my question. What's going on, Nemo?
That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
I'm not banking on any passing weapons other than George Pickens.
Other than George Pickens, I don't have a ton. Yeah, right. We need to see it first. That's my question. Who are you dropping? You know, who are you dropping for? Yeah, okay, you could do that, I guess. Yeah,
Vele had 8 targets or something.
Yeah, he's out this week though, I think.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have any more out IR spots or whatever.
We might be out of
and no reason to think Vele is going to keep getting a ton of targets.
No, I that's fine. That's fine.
If you can stash, but yeah,
that's fine. I do see a couple of member questions.
No
so
more
let me get the member questions. So Indy versus Baltimore. Baltimore is one of those teams where I am fine if you have them to just continue to fire them up. They should be perfectly fine today against the Raiders at home, where they're big favorites. That being said, I do think the Colts are the top stream this week, and an excellent play. But the Baltimore Ravens are one of those defenses where if you already have them in this matchup, you might as well just play them. I don't think you need to roster, I don't think you need to roster the Colts if you already have the Ravens at home against the Raiders. That's a good enough spot where you just kind of roll with Baltimore over a stream. Over a stream.
And then we got a question from me, and I'm a member. So would you do Seahawks or pick up Indy right now?
I like Seattle today. I do, but I think I would pick up Indianapolis.
Yeah, I probably would have to drop.
I would pick Seattle up Indianapolis, which is fine because they play Miami.
They have Miami next week,
and that's going to be a Tua-less Miami team. So that keeps them interesting for a week.
Then it's Detroit, but then it's the Giants. So they kind of have 3 out of 4 good games, and then week 6 it's Niners, and I can kind of drop them.
That's when you can officially drop them. Dang, maybe hang on.
Yeah, on my bench I've got like Isaiah Guerrero, who I'm banking on. Okay, maybe Guerrero gets a shot because I was saying on my show last night where look, now Mason's the guy who's on the field playing, and the only players who get injured are the players who are on the field. So you have to be knowing who's the next man up. So
true,
like, Guerrero, I feel like it would hurt my soul if for some reason Guerendo's starting next week. And I just dropped him.
Sure, but as a deep stash, that's fine. That's fine.
Man, but he's basically my only drop that I could actually make.
You can hang on to him because he's next man. It's fine to stay one step ahead when it comes to running back stashes, and he is a one step ahead piece right now. So yeah, maybe just rock with Seattle and revisit next week. Do I have likely above Pitts iron? No, I'll go. Pitts caught a touchdown last week at least. I'll go back to the well with Pitts for one more week. Again, I'm starting the dudes for one more week. I'm starting the dudes that were drafted to be your horse at tight end over Isaiah Likely. So Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts. Dalton Kincaid already went on Thursday night. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Let's see if he can course correct because first couple of weeks for Dalton Kincaid have not been good. I'm still starting all of those names, and I might even go Brock Bowers over Isaiah Likely. Probably am going Brock Bowers over Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, great week 1.
You could start the conversation with like Evan Ingram, who one catch last week and going up against the Browns, bad matchup. That's where the conversation could start for me for Isaiah Likely. But I would play Pitts over him. He hate me. Brandon Cooks or Christian Watson. I would probably go Cooks. At least he has Dak. And he had 7 targets last week. Watson's now playing with Malik Willis. And there's not really a whole lot of confidence that I have in that situation. I can't
Yeah,
imagine Cooks
neither made
making
my
the top
top
36.
36, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm fading all Packers wide receivers. Watson, I needed week 1 for him to show me that he was back. I think he got a
He
touchdown,
caught the
but
touchdown. Yeah, he got a
um,
touchdown.
so maybe the legs are symmetrical now, and all that, but his quarterback's not healthy, so got to
No,
pass.
I'll take Cooks. I'll take Cooks. He
Yeah,
caught
they
caught a
just
touchdown
lost
last week.
Ferguson.
Yeah, no Ferguson. Caught a touchdown last week. Got 7 targets, so it wasn't like the touchdown was totally random. He was, 7 targets is 7 targets. You're a regular in the offensive game plan if you're commanding 7, 8, 9 targets, and Cooks got 7 targets last week. So yeah, no Ferguson, back to the well at home against the Saints. Old team for Brandon Cooks. Could be a little revenge game factor coming into play here. I'll take Cooks.
And hey, got another member's question here. Pick up Chuba Hubbard or Wan'Dale Robinson, who again I mentioned was top 2 in the league in targets last week.
I'll take the running back depth. I'll take the shot on the running back depth. I know Chuba wasn't great last week, but
he's the only starter available.
Right? Yeah, it's like I'll take a shot on running back depth on bad teams, even over a wide receiver on a bad
Good
team.
Call.
I'll take the running back. Where are we at? Appreciate everybody's patience as we work through these questions. We got the Roman Wilson question for Vele. Yeah, that's fine. You can pick up Roman Wilson. Pick 2 to flex in full PPR. Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk, Brandon Cooks, Demarcus Robinson, or Isaiah Likely. There's some interesting options here. Christian Kirk in full PPR is probably a fine guy to bank on course correcting with today. Brian Thomas is going to have maybe a little bit more of a difficult matchup on the outside. Is he going to see Denzel Ward? He might, which would not be a great spot. Cooks, again, had a nice game last week. You could probably feel decently about his chances today. Again, no Jake Ferguson. And he played well last week, and now they're at home. So, you feel good about him. And then, of course, Likely is, Likely's the talk of the town right now. Demarcus Robinson.
Cheat code.
He could be a cheat code. Demarcus Robinson, probably not. Let's see one more. Let's see how things shake out for the Rams before we fire up Demarcus Robinson. In full PPR, I think I would go Kirk and Cooks. Alex, you might have Likely ahead of either.
Is it letting you click on the comment to show it?
There it is. Yep.
Okay. So, man, yeah, and I was happy to see Thomas get that TD. I'm good with Kirk, to be honest.
I like Kirk.
And if we're picking 2, I would actually still go with both. I would go Likely.
You're going Likely? Yeah. Alex is really bullish on Isaiah Likely. So if you're, you might be anybody might be looking for some reassurance on how confident you are in Isaiah Likely. Alex is your guy for that.
Yeah.
I like Likely. Number 1 overall is crazy. It's wild, but how unrealistic is it? Not it's not.
We're
it's
about to find out.
We are about to find out.
More points out of these 4 or 5 names here.
We are about to find out. We are about to find out. Hey, he hate me. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Best of luck.
Yeah, shout out to he hate me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he hate me while you're in the giving mood. Give me a subscribe over at Dynasty Football Key. I appreciate it. I'm not monetized, but I appreciate any support anybody would be willing to send my way. Thank you guys.
Yeah, subscribe to Dynasty F Key.
Dynasty Football Key, Dynasty F Key on Twitter.
F Key. Oh, that's the Twitter handle. Got you. Dynasty Football Key on YouTube is Alex's channel. For additional content during the season, we will continue to collab over the course of the season. Give his channel some love. Appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out today. And he hate me. Thank you so much. Best of luck today. Let's get this dub. I hope Brandon Cooks rips off a 60-yard bomb. Which would be awesome. Let's see where we at. This I need to utilize this show option a little bit more frequently. Pick 2, Ridley, Eckler, Zeke, Lockett, Shaheed, Cooper, full PPR. I'm going Cooper. And I
Yep.
don't know what to do with the
I'm good with
second
Lockett
option.
actually as
Yeah.
my second option there.
Okay.
I don't have him ranked, but I also don't have really ranked. I've got there's just no reason to doubt what his workload is going to be. Lockett, that is. So I'm gonna go with Lockett there. But yeah, a lot of these guys balled out this week, except for Ridley for the most part.
Lockett was the first read, I think, on most of Geno Smith's throws last week, not DK Metcalf. So, and Metcalf is probably going to see Christian Gonzalez today for the Patriots. So that's a brutal matchup for Metcalf. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Lockett. I'm good with the call to fire up Lockett, take a chance on him.
Yeah, he's always faded every year, and Rashid Shaheed has a tough matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. Could be more of a Chris Olave game. Who knows? But it's more about that matchup versus the Cowboys for me. While I'm like, not so much. And with Zeke, yeah, I just can't depend on him, to be honest. I think they're still a committee backfield.
Yep. It's still, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
again, all these guys did something.
To trust.
Good group of options here.
Yep. Looks like you're getting some subs.
Nice.
Good. Appreciate all y'all showing some love to some other channels. Let's see where are we at. So Cooper and Lockett. That's where we're good. That's where we're at. I think we got the member questions.
Oh no, there's another member question that just came in right now.
We got the member. Oh, Jay, what's going on, Jay? Good to see you. Pick one in full PPR between Pittman, Tank Dell, Malik, Neighbors.
Try clicking this one. See if it lets you pull the member ones.
Yeah, we want to definitely highlight. We want to spotlight that.
Yeah, now you see that little member logo. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so let me get a crack first here. So yeah, one PPR. I think Pittman has the decent shot at the best target share. But
probably.
Yeah, I gotta not be dynasty minded and give Neighbors a little more time. It's just tough with the Daniel Jones situation, and Dell's just not a PPR guy. You're just hoping for a boom week. So I'm going Pittman here. I love all these guys, and I actually like Pittman at least. I've got Dell here at 27. I've got Pittman at 17. Neighbors at 15. So it's really just me trying to reach for that upside, but
I'll tell you what, I think I'm feeling that Malik Neighbors ranking. I think I would go Neighbors here.
Yeah, that's what I had decided on before this. I'm sorry to waffle on you there, but I'm going to stand on Malik Neighbors.
I do this shit all the time where I'm like, I think I have my answer for a question, and then I talk it out, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even agree with what
Daniel Jones.
So for me here, Jay, Pittman's probably going to see Jair Alexander, and so that, yes, 100. Alex is correct. Pittman is likely the best bet here for target share to win that among these three guys, to see the most targets, to see the most opportunities. He's probably the name of this group. That's just a tough spot against Jair Alexander. And then Tank Dell, yep, big fan of Tank Dell, but he's not a volume dude. He's a big play dude, which would be awesome for Tank Dell to hit a big play. But in full PPR, I think the best chance to, for 5, 6, maybe even 7 catches, I think today that's Neighbors. I think today it's Neighbors. Washington's defense got absolutely scorched by the Bucs last week. That secondary does not look very intimidating. I think I would go Neighbors.
All right.
Go Neighbors.
All right, let's see it.
I think I would go
for
Neighbors.
A little rookie shootout. They had a little side bet who would win Rookie of the Year, so I know this is a big game for those two.
This is a big game for both of these guys. That's right. They're playing, Well, Jade and Daniels and Malik Neighbors. They're both going to be getting up for this game.
Let's go.
They're both getting up for this game. Holy hell. Evan Ingram was Evan Ingram just ruled out?
What?
Evan Ingram is inactive after suffering a hamstring injury during pregame
Oh,
warmups.
guys. All right, breaking news. That qualifies as breaking news. Get
Uh,
Evan Ingram out of your lineups, guys.
I'll post a shit. I have him.
Josh Downs
Crap.
ruled out. Not too big of an impact there. Let's see if there's any other ones we should let people know about.
Evan Ingram is inactive.
Evan Ingram's inactive.
What the hell?
See, hey, likely looking better and better.
I say likely. Holy hell, dude.
Man. So Ingram, I had an 8. So, man, it's getting rough for the tight end position here, guys.
It's rough in these tight end streets.
Ooh, brutal.
This is bad.
So E111 says, man, I was working a deal for Ingram for likely. Oh, brutal.
That's gonna
Brian Thomas Jr. time though. Good call, not Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
We just
it
had
could
that
be.
question about Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk. I'm definitely still playing Christian Kirk for the target share, and then I just think Brian Thomas Jr. body size wise, height is very similar to Evan Ingram. You know, a few inches shorter. He's basically that receiving tight end option now with a little more juice.
There you go.
And healthy hamstrings. Dang it.
And AJ Brown has been ruled out for
What?
Monday
Okay.
Night Football.
Man, that's early.
If you have AJ Brown, another breaking. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
AJ Brown out for Monday Night Football.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, God. That's
Dude,
early out, too.
What the hell is going on right now?
I had him at number 4. Oh, man. So
huge.
Instant reaction, where does Devonta Smith move up? I know you're typing in the chat here, so I'll say Devonta Smith as the wide receiver 1.
Top 10.
He's moving up into the top 10. I've got him ahead of Worthy here for sure.
Ahead of Worthy. I would probably put him ahead of Nico. The conversation starts probably between him and Mike Evans and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. I'm going to update this little rankings page. It's not super serious, but you guys, hey, AJ Brown out. And, just in case you guys are wondering, always have in the flex spot your Monday night players. That way you can make some adjustments. But right now you have your chance before the next hour ends up. You can go ahead and make that sub for someone else if you don't have a Smith or a Monday night player. Get someone in now. So that was Ingram and AJ Brown out. And for what it's worth, Josh Downs was already basically going to be ruled out. But we had that Pittman conversation. I don't think that really matters. So those are the big ones.
I guess if Dallas Goedert is available in like shallower leagues, he might be a viable tight end option to pivot to without AJ Brown. If if you're between some desperation tight end options, I guess you could do worse than Dallas Goedert. I don't even know who I would be interested in between. Like if you just lost Ingram, Taysom Hill, Jordan Akins, Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry. I don't even. God, I don't even know. I guess Hunter Henry, he had a shot at a touchdown last week. It was like bobbled in the end zone. I guess you could take a shot on him. Oof.
Good memory.
Oof.
Oh, man.
Gross.
Yeah, that's tough. But Smitty will be able to get the job done. So big week for Smitty ahead.
Big week for Devontae Smith incoming.
Yeah, I think Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel range is fine. Just as being the top target there. We've seen him have those 20-point games before, Devontae Smith, that is.
Right. Okay. Well, some big injury updates.
Yeah, these are some big ones. Any other impacts? So you got the Goddard call for Ingram. We got the other guys around there called. So yeah. All right. Hey, let us know if y'all see anything else going on. As we jump back into these questions.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I missed. Or no, we got the pick 2 for between. We got Cooper and Lockett.
And I'm seeing Roma Dunes will play tonight. Okay. Cool.
Drop Benson for Warren? No, only if no. I would continue to stash Trey Benson. He actually, unlike Blake Corum, he actually got involved last week, and that's not an indictment on Blake Corum, but like talking just about like the most intriguing rookie running back stashes this year. Benson already looks like a regular contributor. He's obviously nothing more than a depth piece for Arizona right now, but
Yeah.
no, I would hang on to Benson. I would hang on to Benson. I would not drop him for somebody like Jalen Warren unless you're absolutely desperate for like running back help right now. And I don't feel that good about starting Jalen Warren until we see more from him. Let's see. How do we feel about Jaden Reed this week? Wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 3. Not great.
Yeah, I've got him here on the back end at 33 overall. So wide receiver 3 range, like you said. And,
Yeah.
you know, maybe with this with Evan Ingram being out, I might even move Christian Kirk ahead of Reed. You do.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
honestly, yeah.
I know everyone feels like you got to get Reed in there after that last game. So I can't be mad at you for doing that. We just haven't seen Malik Willis support anything above 40 yards receiving for any receiver he's ever been with. And he's only had 70 yards passing himself in a game. And yes, small sample size. So we'll see if LaFleur can get him going. There's just so many other options.
I would look to pivot off of. He's good enough to come through as an individual talent, but it's a bad spot for him today. Start 3, full PPR. Christian Kirk, Ladd McConkey, Demarcus Robinson, Isaiah Likely. I think Kirk and Likely here. This is definitely a spot where I'm comfortable saying go Likely.
Boom.
Christian Kirk, and then it's between McConkey and Demarcus Robinson for the start. They're both intriguing options. Both are regular contributors to their regardless of the availability of everybody else. Demarcus Robinson was going to be a regular contributor for the Los Angeles Rams, even with a healthy Puka Nacua. Ladd McConkey could be the team's wide receiver 1 in a low volume passing offense. He caught a touchdown last week, but the rest of the numbers were not like, they didn't totally blow you away. The Chargers might not have to do too much against a bad Panthers team. I guess I give the slight nod to Demarcus Robinson. McConkey is good for PPR, but I feel like Robinson has the better chance to make like 1 or 2 extra bigger plays than McConkey. I think I would go Kirk, Demarcus Robinson, and Isaiah Likely. I think that's where I'm going. Let's see. Where am I at? Risk starting Keenan Allen and flex someone like Najee. So we do have until the later games to like get, because the Steelers don't play until the 4:25 games. And Keenan Allen is a game time decision for Sunday Night Football. So we can take this up until the 4:00 East kickoffs in the event that there's better news about Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen is ruled in, and I don't see the scoring here, if it's full PPR and Keenan Allen is ruled in, I do think I would go Keenan Allen. But if we don't get any updates on Keenan Allen by the time of the 4 p.m. kickoffs, and even if we do, if it's like half PPR or standard scoring, I would just roll with Najee as a low end RB2 and hope for the best.
All right, I've got at least the receivers updated here. So
there you go.
If you want to allow me to re-share my screen here.
Yeah.
I have that going.
While you do that, I think this question was answered, unfortunately. If you have A.J. Brown, you are firmly putting him on the bench.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison is a dicey start today, as is Jaden Reed, but they're playing, and A.J. Brown isn't. So that question was the decision was made when A.J. Brown was just ruled out about 10, 15 minutes ago. I gotta move AJ Brown out of my flex as well. I gotta find.
Yeah, we'll make sure to cut this at 20 minutes max. We got Max 20
Right.
more minutes, guys.
Because we gotta set our own lineups.
Well,
Man,
you have a
who am I
team too?
firing up?
What?
I guess I'm firing up. Now I got to choose between. Now I got to choose between like a Tyler Lockett or a Brandon Cooks. I got to figure that out. But that's my problem, not y'all's. Flex one in standard scoring, Warren or Chuba Hubbard.
Man.
Chuba. At least Chuba's healthy. I don't know how healthy Jalen Warren is. We need to see more from Jalen Warren. Coming out of the preseason with the hamstring, didn't have a huge role last week, probably as a direct result of the hamstring. I would go Chuba. I don't feel great about it, but I would go Chuba.
Yeah, I've got Chuba as my last ranked guy here. I would probably move Chuba and Hubbard ahead of Spears, maybe White Range. But yeah, I'll take Hubbard just with the locked in role.
Yep.
They're still waiting on Jonathan Brooks to get back. They're just view it as he just has more of the workload, but the team is just low touchdown upside. I just also view Warren as maybe having one touchdown at most, but in pass catching work, but not too much. Like not going to have total yardage very high at all.
Mm-hmm. Where are we at? I keep losing my spot. I apologize.
Yeah, we got some action going on.
I got him. Purdy over Goff this week. I would say no. I like Goff. We touched on Goff a little bit. I'm actually pretty high on him today at home. Jameson Williams sounds like no limitation, so he's got his full arsenal. Right. He's got Amon-Ra. He's got Sam Laporta. He can throw the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Goff today. I like Goff over Purdy. Start 3 in full PPR. Well, Amon-Ra's a slam dunk. You have to. I think of this group, Judy and Josh Palmer are decent depth. And while I'm not crazy about Pittman or Drake London today, because Drake London tomorrow night, Monday night, their matchups are not as strong, but these guys are multiple tier levels higher than Jerry Judy and Josh Palmer. I think you just have to roll with those guys. Amon-Ra is a slam dunk, and then I think you have to play London. You have to play Pittman. I can't play Judy or Josh Palmer over those guys, even in less than ideal situations.
Do you have a sleeper tight end I can add to the back of these rankings since I'm replacing Evan Ingram?
I guess like a Hunter Henry. He just missed a touchdown last week.
I've got him at 16.
You got him in this.
Let's
okay.
move over.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Schultz Dalton Schultz is playing, so I guess
Yeah. Yeah. It's just you're just banking on a touchdown. I might just throw I know the Saints tight end. Not named Hill. No, not the other
Foster
one.
Moreau.
I was actually thinking Juwan Johnson, but
Juwan Johnson, dude. See,
one.
that's the problem. It's like, that guy, and it's like you're not even.
Two of them were top 5 last week.
Do we go back to that well? And I mean, that's against the Carolina Panthers. This is a tougher matchup for the Saints against the Cowboys.
I'm just putting a body here, basically. At the back
that's what we're doing. We're putting a warm body in our tight end spot. If you have Evan Ingram and hoping for the best. So to that point, Schultz or Ingram. Ingram's out. So if Schultz is your best pivot, then Dalton Schultz. Hunter Henry is fine as a pivot, but if I guess I would just go Schultz. I would just go Schultz.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Sit 1 in standard. Kyron Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jordan Mason. Damn.
Kyron Williams, Gibbs. Sit 1 in standard. I'll sit. Well, I would probably actually sit Gibbs, to be honest, points wise. But I think if I'm giving advice, I'm just gonna sit Kyron Williams and start Gibbs for the upside and Mason for having the better team. He's just super dialed in.
Mason.
I'm sitting Kyron here. And regretting all my decisions.
I'm regretting. Yeah, this sucks. This decision sucks.
The answer should be sit Gibbs. Everybody. Last week Gibbs had 15. Monty had 15. They're splitting this workload evenly, and we're all kind of just hoping that it works out together. So final answer: sit Gibbs. But come on, guys, I don't want to sit Gibbs. Like
I don't want to sit Gibbs either.
Like who else is in your flex that you can't
Yeah.
sit somebody else. I don't know. Maybe
These are 3 RB1s. I don't want to sit any of them, but I agree. I guess Gibbs, but I don't feel good about that at all. I don't feel good about that at all. I want to play all 3
we're
of them.
hoping Gibbs has that Kamara type game, or at least dynamic with him and the backs of the pass. So it's just like you'd expect Gibbs to just get a ton of pass catching work.
Yeah.
But he's most likely not going to get a huge workload until there's an injury to David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm. I guess Gibbs, but I don't feel very strongly about that answer because they're all studs.
Yeah, they're ready for the bye weeks though.
Yep.
Good team.
Yeah, you know it. Start Jaden Reed, Tank Dell, or JMO in full PPR. I guess I would go Tank here. Because we drafted him high. Jaden Reed takes a short-term hit with no Jordan Love. I love what we saw from Jamison Williams last week, but I think I would, between him and Tank Dell, I would give the slight nod to Dell.
All right.
I think I would go Dell, and then Parkinson or Freiermuth at tight end. I like Colby Parkinson today. I think he's going to soak up a decent amount of work without.
You mind pulling up my rankings again?
Yep.
I got them all updated. No more Evan Ingram in here, and yeah, as far as Parkinson, Pat Freiermuth, I'm still, this was able to get Pat Freiermuth into the top 12. I am nervous about having Justin Fields as a quarterback. I had kind of predicted Freiermuth would have a breakout season until I found out Fields would be the starter, and that kind of put a damper on things. But Parkinson's in line for a good workload with Puka Nacua out, so I understand it. I'm gonna go with Freiermuth since he's the top 2 target on his offense.
All right, I think I prefer Parkinson, but at least Freiermuth has some continuity in the offense, I guess. But I think I do lean Parkinson. I like him as a stream today.
He's a better player at football, in my opinion. Freiermuth is a better football player.
Freiermuth is a better football player, but Parkinson doesn't have a huge track record to go off of, but catching passes from Matthew Stafford, I feel like his situation is a little bit better.
And then just on the Tank Dell piece, I've got JMO. Who did you take there?
Oh, you have JMO. I said Tank Dell.
Yeah, I've been looking at some numbers, and just Jameson Williams just absolutely crushed this past week.
He killed it last week.
You have to focus on the fact that he's healthy. Nick just said he's healthy, so if he's healthy, then fine. If how sometimes they just say they're healthy, maybe if you're still worried about that, then Dell's a good option. But the Chicago defense is good, and Jameson put up some incredible numbers to where he could be much higher on this list next week. Mm-hmm. Not even in the same stratosphere as some of these guys.
Right. True. That's true. The upside is Jamison Williams. The floor play is Tank Dell. The ceiling play is JMO. If you want to play a little bit more aggressively, that would be my final answer. If you're in a real good spot, maybe go Dell. But if you need to be aggressive, then JMO is solid. Pick one. Likely Eckler, Palmer, Cooks.
Likely.
I already knew your answer.
It has to be Cooks next, right?
I was going to say, I think Cooks is my answer here. Again, 7 targets last week, caught a touchdown at home, in a good spot to deliver. CeeDee's the one who probably has to deal with Marshawn Lattimore. Not that CeeDee can't win that matchup, but Cooks probably isn't going to have to see him. So the matchup is solid for Cooks. I would probably go back to the well with Cooks. That would be my answer. I know you're bullish on Likely. I need to give it one more week before I'm at that level of bullishness on Isaiah Likely. So I think my official suggestion is Cooks.
And
let's chase the more proven guy.
I'm just curious. I know we got a couple more questions, only 10 minutes left, but with Eckler, are you feeling like Eckler's usable now? For years, Washington has had that satellite back that has been useful for fantasy, but and Eckler had 10 points last week. Are you in on him or?
Nah, I'm out on. I know the matchup is great, but Robinson actually was the one who cut into his workload. I think they split targets. It wasn't other way around. Plus he's close to the end. Eckler has been a great player. will probably have a game here and there over the course of the season. And maybe that's selling him a little bit short, but ultimately I'm not super in on Eckler compared to guys like Cooks and Likely.
And then here's just one other member question in a super shallow league where you only have 12 players and only 2 bench spots. Would you drop Jake Ferguson or David Njoku? They're starting Isaiah Likely.
Uh,
There's so few players. Here's the team: Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith, Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, Michael Pittman Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jake Ferguson, Likely, and Njoku. That's it for the roster.
Since you got Likely, it's a bit of a cop out, but I guess I would just drop the
Njoku,
tight end
right?
that you drafted second between the two of them.
Oh yeah.
I would just drop whoever you drafted first. If you drafted Njoku first, then drop first.
Because everyone else is going to have the same shallow roster issues.
Right?
And doesn't
Yeah.
want
So
to
it's like
get banged up Njoku on
it's
a
not a
bad
huge
team.
loss.
With
It's
a
all
bad quarterback.
relative. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. AJ Brown is out again. AJ Brown and Evan Ingram are both out. So get those guys out of your lineups immediately, especially Ingram, who the Jags play here at the top of the hour. So
We've moved up
ASAP.
Smitty to the 9th spot here.
Yeah,
that's where we got
fair.
Devonta Smith.
That's
and
fair.
Goddard moved up as well.
That's fair. We have some more questions to get through. Appreciate everybody's patience. Charbonnet versus the Patriots or Nico Collins versus the Bears? In full PPR, Nico. Let's go with the stud wide receiver. I like Charbonnet today, but it's a tougher matchup on the road. Give me Nico at home in a matchup that doesn't scare me. The Bears look like they could be solid on defense, but Nico is a stud. Nico's a stud. Let's see. Pick 2. Rice, Godwin, Neighbors. Rashee Rice has to be in.
Yep. Godwin has to be in.
I think Godwin has to be in as well. Yeah, I like Neighbors a lot. I do. I like Neighbors a lot, but I feel good about Godwin. His role, he's back in the slot full time. There should be a potential shootout against the Lions. I would go Rice and Godwin. That's where I would go. After this week, yeah, I don't. Looking ahead, I haven't looked at the week 3 matchups, admittedly, but Raiders could be fine. Obviously, the Cleveland offense, the Carolina offense, the Giants offense are the ones to target. Like, those are the teams that you want to target. So it's fine to identify the matchups for those 3 teams to try to stay one step ahead, but obviously don't do it at the expense of, some valuable running back stashes until we actually get through the week. But that's not a bad look to look at the Raiders, Nemo. I had a question about Arch yesterday.
Yeah,
Keep that one
related.
quick.
Yeah, man, 5 touchdowns. I mean, I know we ended up losing Quinn Ewers, so if Arch has to step up, it might be that time. Over 60-yard rush from Arch Manning, rush TD.
Didn't see that one coming.
Rush TD. So it's not just garbage time. It's not just throwing. Like, he's got some legs too. So I think yes, we can still contend with him because the team overall is just pretty stacked. I think this will have
it's a loaded
some
squad.
of the most NFL players coming from it when April comes around. So I think they still got a shot.
E111, I apologize. I think I missed this one. Are the Bears D droppable in Dynasty?
Well, any defense is droppable in Dynasty, and a 10 team is especially true because you just the value in trade is not there. I've been able to get trades done for team defenses. I still have 1 team defense Dynasty, but you're really maybe getting a third if someone is in a bind and they see you have the team playing against Carolina. So going forward, start looking ahead a week, stream who's going to be playing against Carolina. But yes, you can drop any defense at any point, especially for you. I would say wait until right before it, like if your team's allowed to instantly pick them up, don't just let someone else get this defense, but wait until the last second, drop the Bears D if you really need to. But I do believe in the Bears D as a whole overall this season, just for what it's worth. But I prefer playing the matchups. Colts should be good. And then, yes, Raiders play the Panthers next week, I believe.
So that or the Browns maybe.
Yeah, I
but
think
the
he's
Colts for this
stashing
week is
Raiders for some reason.
the Colts for this week would be the matchup that you want to target if you can afford to go week to week for defense in Dynasty, which you should be.
I have the Raiders in my Dynasty defense, and I'm looking at it now. They play Carolina next week. That's why he's got them. He's stashing.
So maybe hang on. Yeah. Or grab
I'm good with
anybody who's playing
because
the
Bears are
Panthers.
playing the Texans, so I get it.
Yeah, but anybody who's playing the Panthers, you want to target those defenses as a stream. Boost for Goddard Iron, yes. He's now in the low end tight end 1 conversation. He should see some increased volume without AJ Brown Monday night. And we didn't discuss the trade yet, Crumbly Heads. It's a dynasty trade where you would be sending Puka Nacua and receiving Jamison Williams and a 2025 second round pick. I don't think I'm there yet with getting rid of Puka. JMO looked great last week. He did. And you'd be getting a second round pick in return. I think I'm riding the wave and waiting for Puka.
Crumply Head, you have to get Jameson Williams no matter what. Find a way, but I'm not saying give Puka for him though. I'm not on board with this trade. But you do need to
find a way.
You do need to get Jameson Williams. I'm telling you that now. You need to get him. So find a way, but I don't like this particular trade of giving Puka.
I don't like giving up Puka, but I do like the idea of trying to get Jamison Williams for sure, but not.
Yeah, I don't see any scenario Jameson becomes a number 1 wide receiver, but like on his team, Amon-Ra is going to bounce back. But regardless, he'll always have that competition there where at some point Kupp is gone and Puka is going to be there by himself with whoever that quarterback's going to be.
I want to hang on to Puka, but I want to hang on to Puka and find another way to get JMO. Agreed. PPR start 2: Connor, Montgomery, Pollard. I think Connor and Montgomery for me. I think they are the better players. I think they are both in better situations. The Jets' run D looked pretty suspect last week. So Pollard might be in a decent spot, but I think that's still a decent defense overall, the Jets. And I'm not convinced that Pollard is the workhorse for the Titans week in, week out. Let's see if Tajay Spears gets a little bit more involved this week. We know Connor and Montgomery's roles are locked in. So I would fire up Connor and Montgomery.
Yeah, I got Connor 17, Montgomery 20, Pollard 23.
Yeah, I'm sit Pollard. Trade question. Giving Connor and DJ Moore for Tyreek Hill? Is that the question?
Giving James Conner and DJ Moore
and getting Tyreek Hill?
He probably meant to say getting Tyreek Hill. His team has Jalen Hurts. Pacheco got it. Yeah.
You have Pacheco. You have Connor. Who would be your RB2? Dobbins, Javonte Singletary.
They're all basically starters, but super low end. So you want Connor and DJ Moore for Hill. So you're panicking on Hill. My advice is do not trade Hill for this. And try to see if you can just get a little start running back. Like maybe after today, some running back becomes available. Like maybe take that hit today, but there should be another running back that pops up. There's 0 players that are producing the way Tyreek Hill can produce. Tua said he's not retiring. It's kind of regardless of the contract. That's a decision he has to make. But he did just say he's not retiring. And I think if it's a week, it was a Thursday night week 2 injury. Let's say he comes back in October, Hill's going to be back, man. And if they have to, they'll bring in Tannehill or whatever.
So maybe do the deal and then try to find another running back somewhere else. He would be getting Tyreek.
Oh, getting. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So then maybe do it.
Yeah. Buy low.
So then maybe buy low and try to see if you can get like a depth running back back in the trade to make it an even 2 for 2. It could be like the last running back on the guy's bench or second to last guy. But just like
whatever it is.
Yeah, get a piece back in return. But yeah, that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with acquiring Tyreek Hill on the buy low. Let's see. Lattimore out. I didn't catch that. Oh wow, big break for the Cowboys wide receivers.
Okay.
Cooks versus Terry McLaurin in full PPR. We know that Terry is the dude for the Washington Commanders. Brandon Cooks is definitively the wide receiver 2 for the Cowboys. I think I might go Cooks. Terry had another down week last week. I don't know how much Washington is going to throw the ball today. I think I might actually go Cooks. I see you have McLaurin ranked as like a low-end wide receiver 3. I think Cooks is the upside play here.
All right.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
I'm going with McLaurin. I'm
Okay.
sticking with McLaurin. I don't have Cooks ranked, but I would say that I believe Cooks will outproduce what Waddle did. I think Waddle had 8 points.
Yeah,
Tariq had
he
6
should.
points. Yeah. So I would have him at like 35.
Okay.
Cooks.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with Cooks over Terry McLaurin, which is crazy. You usually want to chase the wide receiver 1, but not in this scenario. I would say Cooks. I just don't know how much volume Terry could potentially get in this game. Wandale or Goddard in full point PPR. I think
Wandale.
without AJ Brown, I think I say Goddard.
Well, I'm still going Wandale.
You
Wandale's the
say
number 2
Wandale?
target leader last week. I understand the situation, but it's just they have to throw to somebody. So I'm going Wandale in
All
the
right.
flex.
All right. That's fair. I mean, he did draw a lot of targets, and I guess they'll be throwing the ball. I guess I just trust Jalen Hurts a little bit more than
Yeah,
Daniel
you
Jones.
do want a top 2 target as a tight end, but not all teams have a Barkley
That's true.
also.
They do have
So I
they
just
do
feel
have
like maybe
Saquon.
it's like I know Barkley crushed last week, but I think it's just another good Barkley week for him to get some PPR upside.
Wandale's a solid floor. Should be a solid floor in full PPR. Okay, I'm fine with one, and that with AJ out, which is why I was like, oh, Goddard. But like Wandale's fine as a flex play in full PPR.
Yeah, I mean maybe Goddard gets 8 targets. I don't know, but
Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. I guess Jahan Dotson's going to see some increased usage. And I don't know, maybe Hurts runs a little bit extra. Kittle or Goddard this week. I'm still going Kittle. I'm not moving Goddard up ahead of anybody that I'm not moving him ahead of Laporta, McBride, Kelsey, Kittle, Bowers, Pitts,
yeah,
Andrews.
I would have Goddard here at 9
Yeah,
now with this news. If I were to
yeah.
move him up,
Goddard's
I'm
like
not
a
going to change
the
the
tight
graphic.
end 9. Yeah, but I would still play Kittle. Play the guys that you drafted to be your stud tight end over Dallas Goddard. George Kittle's is in that short list. Ridley or Lockett in the flex. I'm not super bullish on Calvin Ridley right now. I'll take Tyler Lockett. Caught another five passes last week. Remains the number 1 read on a lot of Geno Smith throws, more than DK Metcalf, and Metcalf has a brutal matchup today. I'll say
Okay.
Lockett. I'll say Lockett.
I don't have Lockett here, but I just added Ridley after that AJ Brown news, so it was kind of between Ridley and Lockett, who I had at 34. So it's
Okay.
kind of a toss up. I just feel like Ridley is the number 1 target there. I don't think Hopkins is back this year as far as being the old Hopkins.
Maybe
Um,
not. I just don't like that
and Will
match
Levis puts
up
himself in
today against
situations where
Sauce
he has to throw the
Gardner.
ball.
Yeah, I'm just not crazy about that matchup against Sauce Gardner. I'm not feeling Ridley this week. My tune will probably
All right,
change next week.
let's go Lockett. Lock it in.
I'm feeling Lockett over Ridley for just this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba or Greg Dortch. This is a deep leaguey one.
Dortch.
I think I'm going Dortch as well. Jackson Smith and Jigba is buried. He's a good player, but he's buried behind Metcalf and Lockett. Dortch is the starting slot receiver. And Kyler likes throwing him the ball.
Yeah. Every game last year,
I'll say Dortch.
remember Kyler was out for a portion of the season. When he came back, Dortch was one of his main guys. And this season, Dortch is one of his main guys. And actually, the year before Kyler got injured, the small amount of times Dortch got in a lineup, then Dortch was also the main guy then too at the end of that season. So before he got injured. So I don't know why the 5'7" guy is getting so much run when Rondale Moore, who's also 5'7", couldn't get that run. Like, they love Dortch. So something's going on there, and you just got to lean into it.
Yep. I'm on the Dortch train there. Let's see. Let's blast through these last few questions. Appreciate everybody's patience, but we do have to wrap this up. Burrow or Purdy?
Oh hey, this is always a great time to plug some stuff just before everyone bails out of here.
Sure.
Hey, Dynasty Football Key is my YouTube channel, guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat today. Give me a subscription over there, new in the space, and on Twitter you can find me at Dynasty F Key. Yeah, go ahead and jump back into it, my friend.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, give the channel some extra love. Appreciate you jumping and hanging out today. Burrow
Yes,
or
sir.
Purdy? I'm not. I don't feel great about Burrow today, but I do have him. I personally have him over Purdy because at least against Kansas City, I think he's going to have to throw. How effective he'll be, is that wrist bothering him? I don't know, but at least he has Jamar Chase.
Do we get any update on Higgins? Or he's still out?
Higgins is out, or he was ruled. He was doubtful last I saw. I don't think he's playing. I think I would slightly lean Burrow.
Yeah, I'm going Purdy here.
But they're both in tough spots. I guess Purdy has closer to a full complement of weapons. So if you prefer the fact that he has Debo and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, that's fine. Burrow is the better player straight up, but it's fair to say his situation is not as good.
Yeah, I love the shootout that's going to happen, but just fewer weapons. Burrow has no rushing upside to make up for only having one target in Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
So if Chase has to go off, basically. And why was Chase on a snap count last week?
Just because the whole contract thing, not practicing.
So 1 week later, he's better. They did have the report earlier that came out to say he's done trying to negotiate the contract. So maybe that's saying he's no longer on a snap count or something.
I guess so. Okay, so maybe Purdy for 1 week, and let's see about Joe Burrow.
Yeah, the argument is Burrow's going to have to throw the ball here, whereas Purdy doesn't have to throw the ball because they should be crushing the Vikings. So I'm actually with you on this one, Nick. I would flip it to Burrow because I'm excited for this matchup, and I think
Burrow's going to have to. You have to throw against Kansas City. Yeah. I'll say Burrow definitively over Purdy.
Both of us are going Burrow. Final answer.
Yeah, Burrow, final answer. After thinking about it for a bit, Burrow, final answer. Full PPR: Mason, Connor, Ford, Kamara. The first two guys. I mean, Mason has to be in.
Yeah, and Kamara's my two here.
Kamara's your
in a losing game script, they're going to have to dump it off to Kamara.
Yeah,
they're going to be throwing, and he's the PPR. He was number 2 in PPR last year after missing 4 games.
Agreed. That good
receptions.
Good catch. Good. Yeah, game script should be in Kamara's favor to catch a million dump offs. Mason and Kamara, especially in full PPR. Mason and Kamara.
Kamara showed me he's done before he's done.
Yeah. Malik Neighbors or Scary Terry in PPR. This isn't a question for me. It's Malik Neighbors. The target share. The Giants are not great, but they're going to throw him the ball. I just don't know how much volume Terry McLaurin can expect to see week to week. This is a Washington offense that wants to run, and they should be in favorable game script to do that today at home against a team it's 2 bad teams, so bank on the home team, I guess. I think the home team, Washington, is going to run. I would expect that New York throws a little bit more, and Malik Neighbors looks like a baller already. I would say Neighbors in full PPR. I would.
All right.
I would. Geno or Fields? Fields. Let's chase that rushing upside, right? Let's chase the rushing upside of Justin Fields. Geno's not in a great matchup today on the road against New England. And then between Amari Cooper or Drake London, I think I'm going to Amari Cooper. Jacksonville's secondary is beatable. I know that Deshaun Watson isn't great, but
yeah.
I think, Cooper's still a baller. He can still do it. It's a better matchup for him than it is for London on the road against Philly, having to play against Darius Slay.
Can I ask a Philly question? Does Philly, the outcome of the game, are they going to lose because they don't have A.J. Brown? Does this change anything for you?
It definitely makes them more vulnerable, for sure.
Maybe the spread pick, like you need to do the pick'em leagues. Maybe the spread's closer now because of this.
The spread is definitely, they definitely lost a couple of points as far as how big of favorites they were. They'll probably still be favorited, but it's going to be it's not going to be a big line, or it's not going to be a big point differential between the two of them.
And then the last one for the Jags, their matchup with Evan Ingram out, does that matter for you? for who wins or who loses?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it definitely hurts Jacksonville's offense a little bit.
And the Browns.
Yeah, Christian Kirk should get funneled a lot of opportunities.
Would you pick the Browns to win now, or you still think Jags win it?
That game's a toss-up. That game is a complete
Yeah.
toss-up. I'll say Cleveland. Their defense is the difference. I'll say Cleveland. Their defense is the difference.
Cool.
But I'll say Fields over Geno, and I will say Cooper over London. Last question here, and then we got to run. Appreciate everybody hanging out today, talking shop. Hopefully you guys get those wins. Purdy or Darnold? I'm going Purdy. This is a situation where I feel a little bit stronger about. Darnold had a nice day last week, but he's going up against the 49ers defense. I don't really want any parts of that. I'll take Purdy as a low-end QB1. Darnold gets to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, but Purdy has Debo and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. I'll take Purdy. I think we got everybody. I think we got everybody. Appreciate everybody's patience as we worked through that. Thank you. Special thank you to my members. Appreciate He Hate Me for joining and for the super. That was very kind. And of course, to Alex, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in. Talking shop, helping folks set their lineups, especially with a little bit of a scramble there with some inactives, some surprise inactives rolling in here with minutes to go before the 1 p.m. kickoff. So thank you. Make sure to give him some love. Subscribe to the channel, Dynasty Football Key. Other than that, I will be back Tuesday for week 3 waivers, 6 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune in then. And best of luck in your matchups today, everybody. Let's get these wins. Thank you all for your patience. Yep. Thanks, everybody.